ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Southern Illinois Pigskin Picks. We've got Week 7 coming up here. And first of all, Pete, talk about what you think of last week. I know we had Pinckneyville with another big win. They're 4-2. Centralia 6-0. Marion still pretty good at 5-1. Just what do you think of what all went on?
Well, it was kind of another eventful week. We're kind of winding down here to the playoffs. I mean, if you look at Marion's game last week, that's the game I saw. They got statistically dominated by Belleville-Althoff in the first half for the second straight year, but pulled out a win. I kind of agree with Kerry Martin when he said they didn't really have an offense. They just made some plays, and, you got another tough game this week in the South 7.
All right, let's get things going. That is the tough game we're talking about. It's, in my opinion, the conference championship. It's going to be one of these two teams. Centralia undefeated at Marion 5-1. What do you think about this one? Obviously, also Shaquille Ivy's not going to play in that for Marion either. So,
honestly, I have a hard time seeing Centralia losing to Marion with Shaquille Ivy being out. I mean, Marion had 42 rushing yards without Ivy. Like I just said, they made a couple of nice plays to Jay Riley, but Centralia is on a mission. Ray Collins got the hearts and minds of his Centralia folks over there, and I think Centralia can continue to surprise and amaze and move towards 7-0.
Yeah, and I think if Centralia does win this game and go to 7-0, they're going to run the table. They're going to finish 9-0 based on who their two final opponents are. I'm going to pick them in this game too. Marion without Ivy, that's going to be, they still have some really good athletes, but that's going to be really tough. Centralia doesn't have a top-notch defense, but their offense is so good they really don't have to. So I'm going to go with the Orphans on this one. Moving along, aren't any real big games in the Ohio division this week, so we decided to go with Murphy at Heron. Murphy 2-4 coming off a win over Massac. Heron, a huge win for them over Harrisburg. They're 5-1. I'm going to go with Heron in this one. I think Murphy would have to play the game of their lives to be able to beat the Tigers or this Heron team.
I agree with you. I mean, Heron's had some tough battles, and like you mentioned, Harrisburg and Benton a couple weeks ago, so it hasn't been like a totally dominating effort by Heron, but they've responded to the challenges well. And with Murfreesboro, yeah, they've got some athletes, but they were missing 5 suspended players last week due to the discipline, so you're wondering what kind of team's going to be out there on Friday. But the same thing with Heron, too much speed, too much athleticism, and I look for Heron to pull it out again.
All right, we'll move on to the Black Diamond. Fairfield lost, I believe, 3 games in a row now going into Johnston City, and they're 5-1, starting to play like the team I think people thought they would. And then Taylor Kirkman, may be back here in Week 8, it looks like. Hard to say if he'll be effective, but that'll be the following week. But for right now, what do you think about Fairfield? Can they go in there and beat Johnston City?
Well, with Fairfield, they've traditionally been a tough ball club. Traditionally has some good athletes, been a good running-based program. But like you mentioned, they're on a losing streak. They got 4 sophomore starters. And on a long road game like this, it's just there's so many questions for Fairfield at this point. With Johnson City being at home, you have the question mark, like you said, with Kirkman. Is he going to be back or isn't he? At the same point, I like the momentum that Johnson City has. I'm going to go with them.
Yeah, I got to see Johnston City play El Dorado Saturday, and Johnston City really took it to them. If the Indians play like that the rest of the year, they're not going to lose in the regular season. I'm going to go with the Indians. And finally, a really big game in the Mississippi Division, Pinckneyville at DuQuoin. Both teams are 4-2 and 2-1 in conference. It's been a while since this was an important game. What do you think about it, Pete?
Obviously, other than Centralia and Marion, this would probably be the game of the week, because Pinckneyville and DuQuoin, obviously 2 schools with a lot to play for. Pinckneyville, look at Chute. Chute is the kind of the engine that drives this team. But the question is if there's enough total package there at Pinckneyville to beat a DuQuoin team that's got some size, got some athletes, and especially at DuQuoin, which is kind of the whole mysticism of DuQuoin being at home. But I just think that the total package of DuQuoin is a lot harder. Is hard to pick against. I'll go with the Indians.
Yeah, I'm going to go with DuQuoin. They don't have any really standout offensive players as far as your big 1,000-yard rusher or anything. They kind of spread it around. Pinckneyville does have the athletes to beat them, but it'll depend if they can limit the turnovers. Turnovers beat them against Benton and helped in their defeat at Carterville. Although the Lions did play one of their best games of the season, if not the best, when they beat Pinckneyville. But I think this will be tough for the Panthers. But this year, I mean, we've all been way wrong many times.
I've been
before.
way wrong many times.
So it's
I think this is my worst record of my last 6 seasons.
It ought to be an interesting game. They're going to probably have 3,000 or 4,000 people there, maybe.
Yeah.
So.
And it will be a game. And this isn't something you can look out and say DuQuoin's going to win 40 to nothing. I mean, this will be a game. The question is, how much can DuQuoin limit shoot, and how much can Pinckneyville just kind of manage the game effectively?
Yeah, it should be an incredible atmosphere there, too. Well, that's all for now, folks. Please join us next week for our Week 8 Pigskin Picks. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.